The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Tuesday, January 20th, reveals that fans will see Matt Clark backed into an awful corner while Newman gets a surprise. Billy Abbott will also enrage Victoria Newman, so some big moments are coming up on the CBS soap. Despite Newman's belief that he should be the one to handle Matt, he'll allow Victor Newman to take over. Victor will get to work on his next steps and hope to deliver a blow that Matt can't come back from. One way or another, Victor will plan to push Matt out of the picture permanently. There have been too many Matt-related nightmares for the Newmans, so Victor feels like he has to do whatever it takes for the safety of his family. Whether that involves Matt's demise, a dungeon somewhere, or another path to dealing with him, Victor will indeed take action. Matt will be in a tight spot as Victor figures out how to solve the Newman clan's villainous problem. Of course, Matt is a pest who always seems to keep coming back. Even if Victor thinks this is over, there's a chance Matt could pull off another dirty trick and spark more mayhem for the Newmans eventually. In the meantime, Chelsea Lawson will surprise Nikki with her level of Newman loyalty. Y&R spoilers say Chelsea will rise to the challenge alongside Adam Newman and prove she's got what it takes to be a Newman defender. Nikki will be glad to have Chelsea on their side now that Cain Ashby and Phyllis Summers are attacking Newman Enterprises. As part of Cain's plan, he's extended a peace offering to Billy. If Billy wants Chancellor, it's his for the taking. However, Sally Spectra will continue to stand against the idea of Billy making this deal. Victoria will also fly into a rage over the news since Billy's move could hurt Newman, along with the rest of her loved ones. Victoria may encourage Billy to think long and hard about what's next since Johnny Abbott and Katie Abbott will be watching. If Billy becomes part of this plot against the Newmans, Victoria will consider it a betrayal of their children. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Cain's offer will continue to cause issues in Billy's life, so stay tuned for updates on all the escalating drama. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here are your spoilers for The Young and the Restless episode. Airing Monday, January 19th, 2026. When Victor receives valuable intel from Sienna, Victoria, and Adam work together to protect Newman Enterprises, and Nick ignores doctor's orders. Matt Clark is unconscious and tied up in a car trunk, but he's still playing a key role in the show's umbrella story involving Victor and the troublesome artificial intelligence program. On Monday's show, watch for Victor to receive valuable intel from Sienna, who is still Matt's wife. If she shares with him knowledge of Matt's whereabouts, Victor may attempt to regain control of the troublesome bad guy. But if Matt breaks free, he's going to try to destroy Nick. Will Jack regret giving Matt over to Nick if the criminal commits more bad deeds? Victoria started to feel more positively towards her brother Adam last year when he showed great support for his sister when Cole died in the hospital. Vicky and Adam are similar in that they both embrace the business world side of being a Newman. They're like their father in that way. On Monday's show, watch for Vicky and Adam to team up to protect Newman Enterprises. The company has attacked itself via the AI program that Victor used to destroy Arabesque, Cain's company. Are the two capable of bringing down Adam, who appears to have the upper hand right now? Nicholas Newman is a man on a mission. Despite his leg pain, Nick is determined to bring down Matt Clark. Nick left the hospital before he recovered properly, and he's been possibly popping pain pills like they're Pez candies. On Monday's show, watch for Nick to ignore doctor's orders. Will his physician warn Nick about exerting himself physically so soon after his surgery? Or will the good doctor advise Nick to lay off the pain pills? Tune in to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Monday, January 19th reveals that Sharon Newman will face some alarm bells while Cain Ashby gets targeted and Sienna Bacall makes a sneaky move. At the Newman Ranch, Adam Newman will bring Victor Newman some potentially good news. The IT team will be working on an algorithm designed to make the AI program go after bogus targets, but it'll need more testing. Victor will argue that there's no time for that, so Adam will agree to pass along his approval to use the algorithm right away. Victoria Newman will come along and complain about the struggles of doing damage control. When Victor suggests sending the cops after Cain and Phyllis Summers, Victoria will remind Victor that he used the AI software on Arabesque. If the Newmans bring the authorities in on this, they could be tied up in court for years or even face prison time. At the coffee house, Esther Valentine will spy something about the Newman attack on Chelsea Lawson's laptop, but Chelsea will act like it's just meaningless gossip. Chelsea will eventually text Adam asking her to meet up since all the negative Newman buzz is gaining speed. At Sharon's cottage, Noah Newman will keep pushing Nick Newman to confess his plans for unconscious Matt Clark, who'll still be outside in the car trunk. When Noah worries about Nick killing Matt, Nick will insist no one's changing his mind about making Matt disappear for good. Sienna will eavesdrop on Nick and Noah before turning to Victor for assistance at the main house. After Victoria meets Sienna, she'll head to Crimson Lights with Adam. Adam and Chelsea will be willing to dial up their devious side when it comes to protecting Newman Enterprises. Victoria will do some brainstorming with the duo as they mull over a way to strike back at Cain and Phyllis. Back with Victor, he'll listen as Sienna updates him on what she overheard at Sharon's place. Victor will find out that Nick has unconscious Matt and is threatening to kill him despite Noah's disapproval. Sienna will open up to Victor about her feelings for Noah, but she won't see a long-term future for them. Victor will seem like he's warming up to Sienna a bit, but he'll agree that maybe she should return to Los Angeles after the Matt nightmare concludes. At Sharon's house again, she'll come downstairs and find out the alarming Matt situation as well. Sharon will understand why Nick would want to kill Matt, but she won't like that Noah's involved now and will suggest Nick would be haunted by his actions. Nick will disagree on Monday's Y&R episode, but then Victor will barge in with Sienna and insist he should be the one to handle all this. Victor will push Nick to let him take care of Matt while Nick gets more medical attention. Sienna, Noah, and Sharon will be on board with that plan despite Nick's complaints. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick will be outnumbered here, so stay tuned to see how Victor will ultimately deal with Matt. On The Young and the Restless, Michael Baldwin has found himself thrust in the middle of the AI drama lately, pulled in multiple directions by various individuals. Victor Newman has allowed Michael back into his inner circle, making his friendships with Diane Jenkins and Phyllis Summers a bit more complicated. Phyllis recently made a remark that Michael was a fair-weather friend at best, which posed the ultimate question. Is Michael truly a fair-weather friend, or does he simply refuse to champion bad behavior? Michael can only do sit back so many times and watch Phyllis blow up her life before they needed to take a stand. Michael has sat idly countless times in the past as Phyllis plotted and schemed to get what she wanted. However, there was a noticeable shift after Phyllis faked her death in an attempt to frame Diane for murder. Diane was a close friend of Michael's, similar to his relationship with Phyllis. This was absolutely the straw that broke this friendship in half. Once Phyllis was revealed to have faked her death as part of a revenge plot, her friendship with Michael was never the same. Trust was broken. Phyllis allowed Michael to grieve for her, even going as far as to attend her own funeral and watch everyone's heartbreak firsthand. Beyond the friendship with Michael and Lauren, it's also a safe assessment that for the most part, Phyllis has never recovered with most of Genoa City after that stunt. It did irreparable damage to her credibility and reputation. Beyond Phyllis's stunt demise, she went out of her way to destroy Danny and Christine's relationship on the road to her wedding. She made a fool out of herself on several occasions, including crashing the bachelorette event and the wedding reception. Since Michael is close to the newly married couple, Phyllis's desperate attempts to derail their happiness did not sit well with him either. Although Lauren brokered peace between the embattled best friends on their 20th anniversary celebration, it doesn't appear that Phyllis left the night with the same sentiment as Michael. During Phyllis's confrontation with Nick over using Cain's AI program to steal Newman Enterprises, he brought up her relationships with various people in town. On the subject of disappointing Michael, Phyllis referred to her and Lauren as fair-weather friends, which leaves the impression that she didn't take their truce as seriously as they did. While that could be perceived as Phyllis running out of reasons to care, it's possible that she finds the hypocrisy in Michael's feelings toward her. Michael has repeatedly taken issue with the extreme lengths Phyllis has gone through to get revenge and find success. However, despite his comments toward her, Michael consistently enables Victor's bad behavior, coming back to him time and time again. Victor brought Jack and Jabot to their knees, and Michael was still willing to work with him to find information on Matt Clark and Sienna. Michael received a coin from Victor as a Christmas gift, and somehow that was enough to get Michael to avoid risking Victor's wrath. None of Michael's feelings toward Phyllis can be disputed. She is guilty of all the things that drove him away from their friendship, but does that make Phyllis's points any less valid? If he's willing to stand by Victor, who routinely crushes anyone in his path with complete disregard to everyone's feelings, why can't he extend the same grace to his longtime cohort? The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Tuesday, January 20th, tease that Victoria holds Billy accountable for his recent actions. Plus, Chelsea proves herself to Nikki as Victor prepares for a battle with Matt Clark. It's going to be a day full of drama and intrigue in Genoa City. Billy thought he'd changed, or at least he promised Sally that he had. Victoria has tried to support and protect Billy since he is the father of her children. However, since Billy's deal with Cain, not only is Sally furious, but also Victoria is. Look for her to let Billy know in no uncertain terms that she is over his nonsense. She's going to hold him accountable this time. Things aren't looking great for Billy at the moment. Chelsea hasn't been entirely down with Victor's plan to hurt Billy. She's urged Adam not to do his father's dirty work. Of course, now that Billy has gone too far, Chelsea might not be such a fan of his. Things are not going well for the Newmans right now. They're closing ranks, and Chelsea is no different. She manages to prove herself to Nikki. Of course, that might not mean she's siding with Victor, though. Speaking of Victor, he prepares for battle against Matt Clark. Of course, Nick had him all tied up in his car. Does Victor even need to battle him? Perhaps because Nick is awfully injured right now, which could set the stage for more drama with Matt. The Young and the Restless Spoilers Weekly Update for January 19th to 23 reveal that Victor finds Nikki in a compromising position with Jack, and that's sure to be explosive. Plus, Mariah receives a haunting message, and so much more. Tune in next week so you can catch all of the action in Genoa City. Victor quietly double-crossed Jack after appearing to entertain a possible truce, using the meeting as a distraction while the AI threat against Jabot continued to loom. Jack walked away believing negotiations were still possible, unaware Victor had already shifted strategy behind the scenes. Elsewhere, Cain surprised Phyllis with an unexpected move that validated her ambitions at a moment when she felt increasingly sidelined and underestimated. The surprise strengthened their alliance and emboldened Phyllis to push back harder against Victor. Meanwhile, Nikki signaled she was done staying silent while Victor's choices once again placed the family in danger. Victor backed Cain into a corner, making it clear that defiance would come at a steep cost and that he was prepared to retaliate if Cain didn't fall in line. Cain refused to be intimidated, escalating tensions and further entrenching the conflict between them. At Newman Enterprises, Victoria and Adam worked overtime on damage control as the AI threat destabilized the company from within, forcing them to project confidence while scrambling behind the scenes. Over at the Abbott mansion, Diane delivered Jack a firm ultimatum, warning that his careful neutrality was no longer protecting anyone and that Victor's war would inevitably land at their door. Victor and Nikki argued fiercely over family business, with Nikki challenging Victor's refusal to acknowledge the long-term consequences of his actions. Their clash exposed deep divisions about legacy, loyalty, and the cost of endless power struggles. Elsewhere, Nick took matters into his own hands after realizing Victor wasn't being fully honest about the growing danger surrounding Matt Clark. His decision marked a turning point that would ripple through the family. Meanwhile, Sharon helped Tessa navigate a difficult personal decision about her relationship with Mariah. Sally forced Billy to come clean about his secret meeting with Cain and the offer of Chancellor, refusing to let him deflect or minimize the truth. Billy admitted he was tempted, exposing a widening rift between them rooted in trust, ambition, and conflicting priorities. Across town, Phyllis defended her actions with Cain, insisting she was done playing by Victor's rules and determined to secure power on her own terms. Meanwhile, Nick kept a dangerous secret about Matt from Sharon. Nick turned to Jack for help as the situation with Matt Clark spiraled beyond his control, urging him to act before Victor could regain the upper hand. Jack listened carefully but hesitated, believing containment was safer than escalation. That decision proved costly when Noah made a shocking discovery, opening the trunk of Nick's car and finding Matt unconscious and restrained. Elsewhere, Diane grilled Michael for intel about Victor's plans, sensing Newman Enterprises was under attack and determined to ensure Jack wasn't walking blindly into yet another one of Victor's traps. Cain and Phyllis have Newman Enterprises at their fingertips on the young and the restless. But the Newmans won't give up without a fight. Phyllis feels she deserves this company because she's a part of the legacy family. But is she right? Unlike the Newman family, who were born into wealth, Phyllis clawed her way to the top. She argued that she deserved a win after being looked down upon. She's also a highly skilled technical guru who used the AI program to take down the billion-dollar conglomerate. She demonstrated the technical know-how to lead a modern, tech-driven company. Some Phyllis fans would agree that Victor owed her due to his past treatment of her. Taking his company would be the long-overdue restitution she's been seeking. Additionally, Phyllis has a track record as a successful entrepreneur. She successfully owned and operated the Grand Phoenix Hotel and held executive roles at Jabot and Newman in the past. Phyllis justifies her power move to secure a legacy for her children, Daniel and Summer. She can see them running a powerful media company one day. By seizing Newman Enterprises, she effectively consolidates Summer's inheritance. Arguably, the takeover was achieved through an AI program and Cain. Phyllis should build a company on her own hard work, merit, and leadership, not cyber warfare and sabotage. Also, she has never had loyalty to the Newmans. Phyllis is her own worst enemy. Most of her personal vendettas become her business decisions. Her impulsive and volatile nature makes her a liability as a CEO and leader. She's known for chasing shiny objects. She originally tried to partner with Cain, but when he hesitated, she seduced him and stole the AI software from his laptop. Then she pivoted, pretending to work with Victor to use the program against Jabot. In the eyes of the Newmans, Phyllis will always be seen as the woman who conned her way into their family. Victor created the company from nothing. He transformed himself into the successful man he is today. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Monday, January 19th, reveal that Victoria and Adam put aside their differences and worked together for Victor's good, as all people should. Cain turned his super-secret, all-powerful AI computer program on Victor, and now it looks like Newman Enterprises is his for the taking. Yeah, Victoria isn't feeling that. While Victor blusters and screams that he's still winning, no matter what it might look like to any other sane person on the planet, Victoria takes matters into her own hands and confronts Cain directly. And while she's doing that, Adam is doing sneaky Adam things. Each one is playing to their strengths. Nick checked himself out of the hospital against medical advice and limped home, where he pretended everything was fine. Next, he hobbled over to Jack's to make a deal for Matt's future, howling in pain while insisting he was fit as a fiddle and ready to barter. How long until he can't hide it anymore? And how long before his recklessness actually gives Matt the upper hand over him? Again? Sienna overheard Nick and Noah discussing Nick stashing an unconscious Matt in his trunk. She looked concerned, not for Nick, not for Matt, for herself. Sienna is a survivor, and she knows Victor is the man she needs in her corner. So she hightails it over to the great man's house and spills the beans. Unconcerned about how Noah or Nick would feel about that, Victor will be pleased. At least one woman still remembers he's the greatest. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for the week of January 19th, 2026. Fans can expect Audra Charles to try to make things right. Nick Newman's medical condition could thwart his plans. Plus, Devin Winters and Abby Winters are about to get a front-burning storyline. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Audra and Holden Novak. The two got a fresh start, and Audra tried to take the high road with Claire Grace Newman. At least, that is what Audra wants everyone to think. Next, Audra and Holden will have a chat with Amy Lewis. Audra and Holden will want to apologize for their part in Damian Cain's death. While they were not directly responsible, they were there. Audra will also want Amy to know how badly she feels about deceiving Nate Hastings. Will it be enough for Amy to consider a friendship with Audra again? Over with Nick, he doesn't look too good. Everyone is getting really worried about Nick's medical condition. However, the man insists on being the one to handle Matt Clark. As the week progresses, Victor Newman gets ready to deal with Matt. However, by the end of the week, Sharon Newman starts to get really worried about Nick. The Young and the Restless spoilers for next week reveal that Victor will encounter Nikki Newman in an awkward position. Nikki will just happen to be with Jack Abbott. As for what else to expect, Chelsea Lawson proves herself to the Newman matriarch. Over at Newman Enterprises, Adam Newman continues helping out Victoria Newman. Speaking of Victoria, she angrily confronts Billy Abbott. However, the very next day, Billy ends up leaving Sally Spectra completely blindsided. Phyllis Summers debates with Cain Ashby. On that same day, Victoria manages to fire a shot at Cain. Fans can also expect Mariah Copeland to continue to be haunted by Ian Ward. That connects to a big upcoming story for Devin Winters and Abby Winters, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of January 19th, 2026? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal there are 3 must-see moments for the week of January 19th, 2026. Fans can expect trouble for Abby Winters and Devin Winter. Sienna Bacall reports intel to Victor Newman. Plus, Sharon Newman worries about Nick Newman's medical condition. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Sienna, who was spying on Nick and Noah Newman's private conversation. Noah was asking his father about his plans for Matt Clark, who was in the trunk of his car. Sienna ran off to speak to Victor about it. Then, both of them show up at Sharon's place. Victor previously agreed that Nick needed to be the one to handle Matt. However, now that Victor can see what bad shape Nick is in, he's trying to reason with the man. Nick isn't going to listen, though. Part of it is adrenaline from the situation. The other part of it might be fever-induced psychosis. Nick really looks unwell, and that could affect his decisions. Sharon will worry about Nick's condition. However, he will refuse doctor's orders. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that another must-see moment includes Mariah Copeland. Fans know that Tessa Porter is fed up and plans on filing for divorce. However, once the Matt situation is taken care of, Sharon will want to search for Mariah. Unfortunately, Mariah is under the influence of hallucination Ian Ward. The redhead is doing what the man says, even though she really doesn't want to. The woman has already distanced herself from Tessa and Aria Porter Copeland. However, Mariah has also been reminded of carrying Dominic Newman Abbott Winters Chancellor. That is leading fans to wonder if Dominic could get kidnapped. That will mean chaos and panic for both Abby and Devin. The blonde ended up finding Chance Chancellor during one of his previous death stories. There is no way that Abby will ever give up on finding her little boy. However, it could mean a vicious showdown between Abby and Mariah, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of January 19th, 2026? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. On the Thursday, January 15th episode of The Young and the Restless, Cain questioned Phyllis about how she truly felt about acquiring Newman Enterprises. Her response was loud. She had never felt better. Finally, she secured the prize that always eluded her. For years, Phyllis never got the Newmans' respect or attention. That ended now. However, Cain might be teaching Phyllis a sober lesson. It's not about what you gain, but what you lose in the process. After her heated confrontation with Nick, Cain is surprised that she's still in one piece. She sat in the corner, with a flustered look on her face. Phyllis told Cain that Nick told her that she's betrayed everyone. She could end up losing her family and friends. Summer will be disgusted to learn the truth and want nothing to do with her. Cain wondered if Phyllis wondered the same thing. She argued that Summer would understand why she had to do what she did. Cain wanted to know if Phyllis was considering backing out of their deal. But Phyllis isn't giving up that easily. Even though Nick got to her head, she's not pulling out. She believed that her daughter would understand. Cain asked if her kids would understand the same way his kids do. His kids want nothing to do with him anymore. Phyllis didn't want to talk about their kids. She wanted to keep them out of their conversations. Cain warned Phyllis that Summer is part of the equation. Victor and Nick are trying to turn her against her mom. He wanted to know if this venture was worth losing the love and respect of her children. Cain knows what it's like to lose his kids. It's given him some perspective. He wanted to know whether Phyllis wanted to sacrifice this venture for her relationship with Summer. This was a stark reminder of the high-stakes world of corporate warfare. Phyllis promised Cain she would be in this until the bitter end. The Newmans don't bother her, and the fact that they think they do makes her fight even harder. Phyllis might have their company, but Cain's questions suggest he's trying to prove a point. She'll soon discover the cost of her victory. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Sally Spectra may sabotage Billy Abbott's deal with a showdown on Cain Ashby's train. Sally was hoping Billy had moved past his vengeful obsession, but it doesn't seem like that was ever really the case. Regardless, Cain is now offering Billy the opportunity to take over Chancellor with no strings attached, so he's obviously tempted to go for it. Sally made it crystal clear to Billy that she doesn't approve of this deal, and that she won't be pleased if it moves forward. Nevertheless, Billy may give Cain a yes anyway, and get ready to make his dream a reality. There's even a chance Billy will push for more if he makes another pitch to Cain. In addition to this free and clear Chancellor deal, Billy might have a proposal involving Newman Media. Billy would surely love to stick it to both Victor Newman and Adam Newman by folding Newman Media into Abbott Communications. It'd give the latter a big boost as they try to get it off the ground. Regardless, Billy's about to make some choices that'll leave Sally stunned, and not in a good way. Sally may realize the situation is even worse than she thought, so it's no surprise that she'll confront Cain and rip into him. Once Sally heads to Cain's train and barges in his office, Y&R spoilers say she'll face off with him. Cain may stand by his claim that Chancellor is a peace offering and act like Sally should be grateful for the gift he's giving her boyfriend. However, Sally may question Cain's true motives and feel like there must be more of an agenda in play. Fans might even see Sally pressure Cain to rescind his Chancellor offer since he's putting a target on Billy's back. There's no way Victor will let Billy get away with this, so Sally will be concerned over what the future holds if this deal is sealed. Unfortunately, Sally may find that there's no positive outcome here. If Cain caves in and rips the Chancellor offer away, Billy will be furious with Sally for ruining things. If Cain digs his heels in, then Sally will still have to worry about Billy's Chancellor fixation and Victor's revenge once he's provoked even further. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Sally and Cain have some exciting confrontation scenes ahead, so stick with us for updates on all the major corporate news. On The Young and the Restless, the Newmans are in the thick of a big umbrella storyline that's affecting Victor and Nikki's family. The Abbotts, Michael Baldwin, Phyllis Summers, Cain Ashby, and many other characters. Last week, Nick Newman was thrust into the spotlight as the hero grew more determined to bring down Matt Clark, get Phyllis and Cain to stop going after Newman Enterprises, and protect both his son, Noah, and his ex-wife, Sharon. He's doing all this while recovering from a broken leg as he faces a pill addiction storyline. We don't know this for sure, but anytime a character laments running out of pain medication, we feel an addiction storyline is a strong possibility. Morrow's always been solid in the role since his debut back in 1984. He shines especially in storylines that involve Nick's kids. Where was his Daytime Emmy nomination for the scenes in which Cassie died in the hospital? Morrow is giving a 100% effort, embracing Nick's current story as if he were a newcomer, eager to make his mark in the soap opera world. He doesn't know the meaning of the words phoning it in. Check out our write-up of Morrow's performance last week for Soap Central Y&R Performer of the Week. We suspect the actor will be the focus on that column in the coming weeks and months. We have to admit, we didn't see the twist with the artificial intelligence program coming. Cain's let Phyllis know that the host user will have the program turned on itself. That's why Victor Newman, who used the AI program on Cain and saw it start to affect Newman Enterprises adversely, went to Cain and Phyllis to confront them. Phyllis, especially, reveled in Victor possibly going down. She's wanted the respect from all the power players in town for a long time, and she might finally be getting it. Phyllis will not hesitate to remind everyone that she has arrived as only Phyllis can. Still, we have to wonder about the legality of all this. Isn't anyone clever enough to run a recording device the next time someone reveals that they're using the AI program to commit fraud? Can't the police get involved? And let Floyd do double duty as both Chad Dimera on Days of Our Lives and Chance. Oh, Billy. Billy, Billy, Billy! Once again, you can't see the forest for the trees. You made peace last year with your mother, Jill, having sold Chancellor Industries to Victor Newman. You recommitted yourself to Sally Spectra, who took you back after you promised to focus on the future. And now, Cain has dangled the Chancellor carrot in front of you, and you're breaking our gal Sal's heart. Again. Maybe keep in mind that Billy acquiring Chancellor Industries will be done through illegal methods, right? The AI program has to fall under fraud as far as authorities are concerned, no? We literally saw the distance that's between you and Sally now that you've let her know that Chancellor is back on the table. Why not surprise her? Surprise us. Tell Cain that you're moving forward and you're no longer interested in playing boardroom games. There's a Mariah mention in the upcoming teasers for next week. Her return can't happen soon enough. Soon, it's going to be a year since Mariah went off on that business trip, did what she did, and became a hot mess. She loves her family enough to want to distance herself from them because of the awful act she committed. She's been away at a clinic in Boston, which is quite a distance from Genoa City. Meanwhile, Daniel and Tessa have been building a future together. Of course, the Taraya fans are going to want Tessa and Mariah back together. They're the only same-sex couple in town. Representation matters. But Mariah's going to have to do some serious soul-searching as to why she couldn't be more open and honest with the woman she loves. Maybe, just maybe, Mariah isn't able to reach out to Tessa right now. We know Ian Ward is truly alive. Could Mariah be in danger? Cain has come to realize the folly of reuniting with Lily. She gave him his rose back, she informed Cain it's over, and she left town. Watching Cain look towards a future with Phyllis has been fascinating. It's as if he's had a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. Now, the angel has flown away, and Cain has gotten in bed with the devil. When Lily returns to town, will Cain rethink his allegiance with Phyllis? It may take some time. If anyone is going to turn Cain back into being a good guy, it'll be Lily. The longer she stays away, the more Cain will become ruthless. It was great fun watching Diane and Michael reconnect. The two go way back to when Michael represented Diane in her divorce from Victor. Michael's a character who's tied to nearly everyone in Genoa City, given his role as an attorney. He was a friend to Diane when she needed one the most, and it's nice to see that Michael and Diane still share a bond. It's rare for someone to get one up on Victor, but that's what happened when Cain's AI program turned on Newman Enterprises. Victor didn't need the program or even the threat of the program to take down Jabot. But he used it against Jack and his family anyway. Jack dismantled the company's assets as a safeguard. Newman Media reported on that, and Victor got what he wanted, all through illegal and unethical means. Do Chelsea and Adam have an editor with a journalism background working for them at Newman Media? To leave out why Jack moved Jabot assets around is shoddy reporting. Chelsea pointed that out to Adam, but we haven't seen a retraction, have we? It's rare to see Victor on the ropes. He doesn't have control of Matt, and he doesn't have control of Newman. Maybe if he hadn't gone after Jack, none of this would have happened. Jack might have just turned Matt over to Victor, or to the police, if Victor hadn't gone after Jabot. Of course, there has to be conflict on the show, and there's no denying that the war between Jack and Victor has never been greater. Young and the Restless spoilers for next week indicate Jack Abbott is totally losing it and raging on Billy Abbott for betraying the family and making an alliance with people that are a major threat to their future. We're going to talk about Jack and Billy, this risky move that Nick Newman is making, plus Cain Ashby and Phyllis Summers possibly facing a setback in their Newman takeover. And now, let's get into the latest Y&R spoilers for the week of January 19th. Let's start with Nick's big risk before we touch on the Abbott drama. At the end of this week, Jack is frankly stunned when Nick shows up hobbling on crutches at the door of the Abbott mansion. He tells Jack he's there to save his family, to save the Newmans. Jack is shocked to see Nick out of the hospital, and Kyle Abbott is there and shocked as well. Nick just had major surgery because Matt Clark caused that car crash. Of course, Nick should not be out of the hospital, but there he is, and he's determined to convince Jack to hand over Matt to him. Basically, Nick can't rest until he knows that Matt is securely locked away, so he can't hurt the family, Noah Newman, Sienna Bacall, Sharon Newman, or anybody else. Jack tells Nick that is what he was trying to negotiate with Victor Newman. Jack wanted to exchange Matt for the AI. Then Jack reassures Nick that he's holding Matt in a very secure place. But that's not enough for Nick. He wants Jack to hand him over. Jack tells Nick that unless Victor gives them the AI to destroy, he's not going to give them Matt. That's their leverage. Nick tells Jack that first of all, he doesn't know what he's getting into with Matt. The guy is truly dangerous. And Nick also reassures Jack that Jabot is not on Victor's radar because there's so much trouble going on at Newman because of the AI. Nick is worried that Matt will get loose and go after the Newmans, and he tells Jack that Harrison Locke, Jack's grandson, Kyle's son, could be at risk as well. That bombshell seems to be what gets Jack and Kyle's attention. Jack says, "You know, Victor could have ended all this, but he wouldn't listen." Kyle wants to take Nick back to the hospital because he's looking pretty rough. We know he's pounding painkillers by the handful. Then Nick offers Jack the same deal he asked from Victor. Nick says that if Jack hands Matt over to him, he will personally ensure that Jabot is protected and that Victor doesn't target them. In the end, Jack didn't really want to keep Matt anyway. Jack agrees to hand over Matt to Nick, and Kyle supports that. Nick heads to Sharon's to pick up some rope and towels. Noah goes out and sees that Matt is unconscious, bound, and gagged in the trunk of Nick's car. Noah demands an explanation, and Nick says he's not going to turn Matt over to the cops. Nick is basically worried Matt will end up a free man, escape, or somehow get himself out of the charges. Noah wants to know exactly what Nick plans to do with Matt, and we're going to pick up with that action next week. Y&R spoilers have Noah continuing to confront Nick and demand answers. He's telling his dad he's worried. What Noah and Nick don't realize is that Sienna, Matt's wife, is lurking and eavesdropping when Noah asks if Nick is going to kill Matt. Next week, Nick tells Noah that Matt needs to disappear permanently. Nick says that nobody is going to talk him out of it. I just don't think Matt's going to be taken down that easily and that fast. And I expect that he will be back to terrorizing the Newmans and possibly the Abbotts during February sweeps, which runs from January 29th to February 25th. I would be stunned if they killed off a major villain before sweeps started. Also, given the fact that Nick is in pain, on crutches, on drugs, and as hot-headed and violent as he can be, he's in no physical condition to be brawling. Matt could take Nick down and escape. Now, let's talk about the Abbott antics. At the end of this week, Billy is having a contentious conversation with Sally Spectra. She knows that Billy is keeping more secrets, and he finally admits to Sally that he met with Cain and offered to give him Chancellor. With Phyllis and Cain in control of Newman Enterprises, Billy can have the company back. We all know that Billy is still angry that his mom, Jill Abbott, sold Chancellor to Victor, and he's still not on good terms with her. But Sally is irritated because she and Billy just launched AbbottCom. She's wondering what he needs Chancellor for. He's making all these promises, but Sally doesn't buy it. She feels ridiculous because she trusted Billy while he's been plotting behind her back. Sally thinks Billy is lying to her and to himself. Billy insists he hasn't given Cain an answer yet. Sally understands why Cain wants revenge on Victor, but not why he's offering to just give Chancellor to Billy. Plus, Sally's also really worried that if Billy takes Chancellor, then Victor will turn around and come after Billy again. He tells Sally that Victor is going to come after him anyway, so he might as well get Chancellor, which is what he wants. By the end of this week, Sally finally tells Billy. If he says yes, Cain, and takes Chancellor, she's not going to be happy. It looks like Sally might be ready to walk out over this. It also looks like Billy may lose more than Sally. He may lose his big brother as well. Young and the restless spoilers confirm that Billy winds up arguing with Jack. and I'm sure it's about Chancellor and about Cain. We're going to see Billy insisting to Jack that he is not taking advantage of anyone. But Jack says, "Sure as hell seems that way." It looks like Billy tells Jack about the offer he got from Cain, but it also seems like Jack's of the same mind as Sally on this. Jack isn't happy about it one bit. From his perspective, Billy's making a deal with Cain, whose AI is causing misery. Plus, Jack doesn't trust that Cain and Phyllis won't turn the AI on Jabot once they're done ransacking Newman Enterprises. That means Billy is throwing in with people that may potentially be attacking Jack and the other Abbotts. He's not going to sit still for that. Speaking of those two, Y&R spoilers for next week have Cain telling Phyllis that Newman Enterprises and all of its subsidiaries are pretty much theirs. They just have to rip the Band-Aid off and take control of the company. That's when Victoria Newman shows up to the Cain train and says, "Over her dead body." Obviously, Victoria is not going to give up without a fight. It looks like she'll try and negotiate with Cain and Phyllis, or somehow reason with them or talk them down. Victor failed already. Nick failed already. I don't know what Victoria can offer to stop them. She may try bargaining. She may try threats. Maybe she tells Cain that Lily Winters will never forgive him. But I think Cain already knows she won't forgive him anyway. So we'll see if Victoria is able to throw a wrench into Cain and Phyllis's plans. Be sure to check back for our full weekly spoilers video for the week of January 19th through the 23rd.